Guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity on behalf of StarCastTV. Bottom left-hand corner, we have JYJ, etc. That is JYJ as the yellow Terran. Bottom right-hand corner, we have Minshul, aka Soulkey, starting as the blue Zerg. He's going to get initial scout with that Overlord. This is on Fighting Spirit, so should be able to position it right on that ridge above the natural expansion to get some good scouting information. JYJ, one of those guys that has gone pretty deep, actually, in ASL. He's made it into the round of, I think, 8? A couple times, but has not yet established himself as one of the top Terran. But has been making movements that direction. Very strong player, is a player that's capable of beating Soulkey. However, Soulkey is one of those players, unlike JYJ, where I would say he's one of the top 3 Zerg, if not the top Zerg. I feel like him, Queen, Soma, might get some flack for that in differing orders. I actually still put Queen number 1 in my brain right this second. Maybe Soulkey number 2, and those feel interchangeable, but anyway. Incredible player. I love watching Soulkey because there's just so many times where I'm like, is he gonna, he's just got an incredible defensive style, really good Mutalisk control, and there's just, oftentimes I'm watching him in the match, and I'm like, how is he possibly gonna survive this? And somehow he survives and pulls it out. And just love watching his games. It just, he makes exciting StarCraft matches. I don't know another way to put it. Barracks being planted to go ahead and get that front door seal with another supply depot in that upper right-hand corner. Overlord starting to creep towards position. I do have a side question for people once this hits YouTube, if they happen to know, is how do the... So I know this is a sponsored match. My curiosity is how who's playing who is decided in that sponsorship sort of thing. For a couple reasons. One, I would love to see something equivalent in the foreigner community. Looks like we're seeing a 12 pool as a side note. Maybe to get some additional Zerglings out to be aggressive. It looks like, the hatchery being dropped. First scout for JYJ. We'll be able to see that hatchery at the lower gestation stage to confirm that it is, in fact, a earlier pool build. But there was already movements towards a seal anyway. I'm curious why the 12th pool was interesting. But it looks like just a pair of Zerglings being built initially. Extractor timing has been spotted by JYJ, however. Maybe he was hoping to get a couple more Zerglings out to go ahead and deny information early. And the front door seal is complete. But anyway, so partly I'm just wondering, okay, how do they decide who's in these matches? But the other thing I'm curious, and I would love to see it in the foreigner community as well. The other aspect of it is I would love to see the foreigner community be able to start funding to make sure that these guys keep going, you know, get that, so we can keep having professional StarCraft. I think in my actual perfect world, what I would love to see, actually, is kind of, looks like we're seeing tech to layer, by the way, is some sort of crossover where we have coaches, individual coaches from the top-level Korean players, pick players out of the BSL player pool and run some sort of team league that way. I think that would be incredible and a great way to kind of cross over the communities. But that's in my... I'm not sure how hard or easy that would be to organize. Especially with the foreigner players not being professionals and so not being able to make their full-time job, but could be fun. SCV scooting around, engaging with those Zerglings. Look like this Overlord, actually. I kind of like this play, so this leads me to believe that we're going to see an expansion in the top right-hand corner rather than at the 3 o'clock location, because I believe this Overlord is making a beeline for that equivalent edge to get a bit of vision in that upper right base. So I kind of like that play from Soulkey. Natural expansion coming online. Looks like we do have a second Rax and an Academy. Gas is whirling as well. So 2 Rax, Academy build, fast stim pack, a possible press on the front door of Soulkey. Spire being dropped. I would not be shocked if Soulkey on this map, looks like the Zerglings were able to clean up that SCV. That one getting the kill. I would not be shocked, though, to see Soulkey transition to heavy Mutalisk play. Let's see if he... He's grabbing that second gas, which leads to believe, yeah, maybe a larger dedication to Mutalisk early, because this Fighting Spirit does have this ridge to be able to get great harassment on Terran opponents. Zerglings testing the front to see what sort of Marine count are there. Stimpack being researched. Comsat station also coming online. Zerglings taking a little bit of damage, but able to... I think they got a good look at the Marine count, and that's provoking a creep colony here on the front. Drones sidling into gas. No movement towards that third base as of yet for Soulkey. Marines and medics pulling out to go ahead and potentially apply that pressure. Zerglings being a little bit annoying, looking for a potential backstab. Comsat, I think, was on the front here to go ahead and confirm those creep colonies. So both of them morphing. I think JYJ spotting it, so he's going to go ahead and move these medic marines out a little bit onto the field. There is a drone in the upper right-hand corner waiting to potentially drop that third. This is a huge amount of distance to travel, however, and pressuring that third could be disastrous because that might end up... So yeah, just a single marine peeling off. Good decision here. Because dedicating too many medic marines into the upper right-hand corner, yeah, you manage to stop that drone and stop that third, but you end up losing your entire base to the Mutalisk attack that is fielded by Soulkey. In the meantime, looks like we are seeing initial Mutalisks taking flight. Missile turret and a bunker in the natural expansion. I'm curious on the logic on this one. I've yet to see this on Fighting Spirit. I'm wondering if this is to have potentially some mobility. Upper right-hand corner, in the meantime, that drone at risk, under fire, and if that drone dies, that could be... Yes, gets taken out. That's going to greatly delay that third. In the meantime, the Mutalisks able to take out an SCV. So the bunker there, and I wonder if this creates a little bit of a latent threat where the Marines can unload while stimmed and maybe chase down Mutalisks, giving Soulkey potentially second thought, more Mutalisks joining the grouping, but interesting play. People have opinions on that, let me know. Another SCV getting picked off. Mutalisk count growing. More joining. So it looks like it is going to be a pretty decent sized grouping. It looks like level 1 weapons, yeah, instantly getting researched. Turret on the line, barely gets tapped by that SCV to stay up. But now that, yeah, you get 10 Mutalisks in the fray, this is where Soulkey can really start humming, and he's just got incredible micromanagement. So let's see him go to work. Looks like he's going to trail down to the south, see the third barracks that are silent, and a factory being built. Able to sneak behind SCVs on that turret, so it's going to stay alive. And wow, nice defense by JYJ. And so these Mutalisks taking an immense amount of damage and really not getting a lot in return. Right now, Soulkey at a pretty low drone count as well. He's really been pumping the Mutalisks. Looks like he's going to go ahead and pull some of them off to go ahead and recharge. He is building that upper right-hand corner, but that was greatly delayed. JYJ starting to take the field. Still sitting at that 3 racks count. Dropping a starport, I do not... Well... And dropping an armory in the corner. Which leads me to believe... Okay, so Engineering Bay +1, it is possible that we're going to see some sort of, I guess, Valkyrie build out of this. And maybe a transition back to mech. Remind me a bit of Fantasy style of play. Interesting, I'm kind of got lucky there because I was thinking that the Engineering Bay... I forgot what the Engineering Bay was there for a second. Able to check it. Looks like that supply depot under fire. That will put JYJ in the red. He's marching those troops to the top right-hand corner. Looks like that supply depot will get taken out. That's putting JYJ in the red. Gonna go ahead and pull back. So still 2 sunken colonies. It looks like the Hydral's Den is up. Queen's Nest being grabbed. Third gas not yet established. But we'll see how this plays out for JYJ. 4th barracks being dropped. He's got, yeah, the factory potentially to go for siege tech and maybe siege that front line, so maybe he wants to end it early. Or at least, maybe he was anticipating, because of that delayed third, more of a larger dedication to Mutalisk in the mid-game and wanted to try to quash that with just some differentiated play, or maybe he's just putting on something for the fans here. Marine picked off midfield. Still a full control group of Mutalisks, which is sufficient to go ahead and wipe this out, but another group going up to join it. JYJ currently with the 17 supply lead. Now Soulkey starting to fill out the drone saturation in his base, making the way to Hive. Third gas still not online yet. Feels like that third gas has been extremely delayed. And yeah, we're going to see a Valkyrie taking the field with the siege tank. So could be a potentially tough defense for Soulkey. Marines getting picked on that corner, especially because the Mutalisks took a lot of damage in between. I think... Did they rejoin the grouping? I think they've rejoined... Okay, sorry, they're moving back out after taking a timeout. So Valkyrie out, Marines out, 2 siege tanks. Siege tech is going to upgrade on the way. That Valkyrie and that ball of medic Marines, yeah, to help defend those siege tanks against the Mutalisks in the air. Overlord taken out. Hydral's is there. I believe Lurker Tech, yeah, Lurker Tech is upgraded, so it'll be 2 Lurkers, some emergency sunk colonies on the front. And Soulkey in the red. Lurkers moving out to try to get an angle here. But the Comsat immediately wiping them out. And that was the one advantage that Soulkey has, is the lack of science vessels means if enough Lurkers get out there, that will be a solid enough defense. Depending. So it's kind of a delayed game. How quickly can JYJ chew through the front now? 2 Valkyries joining, more Medic Marines grouping up, 1 Siege Tank still surviving, slowly pecking away. More Mutalisks being built. I think Soulkey just going to dive on this, potentially with the Mutalisks. The 2 Valkyries looking alongside the Scourge, if they can get an angle, might be able to wipe the Valkyries out to at least make something happen there. But this is going to... I don't know how Soulkey's going to survive this, to be honest. Something Colony dropping. I think JYJ might have done it. Lurkers burrowing behind. Another well-timed Comsat should do it. The Valkyries now starting to bully those Mutalisks back. The Scourge running forward. One of them landing, but the rest getting wiped out. They're going to go ahead and back out. And yeah, just dancing on the front. The Sunken Colony's down. That natural expansion somewhat exposed. I think it is just a wait for a Comsat. There it is. But 2 Valkyries getting picked off on that forward movement. Drones getting wiped out as well. That third gas is up and running. There's Lurkers. Are there Lurkers? I thought there might be Lurkers up there. Never mind, the Lurkers that were... I assume they were from the upper right-hand corner, going ahead and trying to cut off reinforcements. Another grouping of Medic Marines making their way this direction. The Siege Tank pushing through. Soulkey buying himself some time. A huge maneuver here. Where I was expecting these Lurkers to be up here on the ramp to go ahead and defend this here as just kind of an obligatory defense. Instead, a brilliant maneuver for Soulkey, moving them down to go ahead and cut off reinforcements, buy himself some more time. Morphing to Greater Spire to make those Mutalisks potentially into Guardians to go ahead and defend the rest of this. Siege Tank is about half health. Mutalisks getting it down to 1 HP, picking it off. And now JYJ getting sent back. Again, we just had to rely on the Comsat and just didn't have enough to punch through. So the attack is repelled. Soulkey survives. Science Vessel is up. He's going to go ahead and transition to get those Science Vessels up and running. It looks like rather than transitioning to mech, he's going to go to the 5 barracks. But Soulkey survives. He does not have... Okay, there's the Defiler Mound. He has, I assume, Guardians morphing shortly. Yeah, going to go ahead and cocoon a couple there. There are now Lurkers the upper right-hand corner. A Nidus Canal there as well. Nice defense. Now JYJ looking to seal him in. He is up in supply. Soulkey hasn't been in. That Science Vessel can go pretty rapidly. Some Irradiates dropping on the Lurkers on the front. But these Marines are in for a rude surprise. And it's unfortunate because the Valkyrie's no longer there. The Marines stimming forward at maybe the worst possible moment. The Lurkers obliterating the lines and the Guardians doing a lot of damage as well. And JYJ just going to exit and make his way north. He does have 2 additional Science Vessels that potentially could join the fray up here. Consume not yet online. It's turning into a crazy one. And the Guardians making their way across to go ahead and potentially assault that natural expansion. A single Marine going to spot that and lose its life on its way across. That Overlord that was sent at the beginning of the game looks like it's going to get wiped out. Again, putting Soulkey into the red. He's having a hard time just getting supply out. And the Guardians now, 2 of them are irradiated, but still getting SCV kills, slowing JYJ's economy down. The Marines coming back rather than making an attempt because those Irradiates had to be expended at the natural expansion. An SCV crawling to the upper left-hand corner. I'm wondering if JYJ is going to try to sneak an expansion up there, knowing that Soulkey has been, his economy's still been battered in the midst of all this. And he's potentially free to expand as long as he can get some control into the upper. So really what he wants to do is just deny this 3rd base, get another group trooping to the natural expansion, keep Soulkey pinned into the bases he's got, starve him out on 3. And are you kidding me? So JYJ expanding upper left, also at the 9 o'clock location. The Zergling going to spot the 9 o'clock location build, so JYJ getting economically aggressive here. Yeah, piling in. I thought he was going to try it on 3 bases, but it looks like he's going to try it on 4. Has a big Science Vessel fleet out to potentially box this in and drop the Irradiates. Soulkey, keep in mind, does have the Defiler Mound up. Has dropped 2 Evolution Chambers. More overlords. They move about that speed. More Guardians moving their way across. The Sacrificial Marine going to clue JYJ into the fact that more Guardians are making that way direction, and JYJ evacuating his natural expansion. Why bother? Not even going to bother defending it, just lifting that off. The Guardians still want to stay toward this cliffside edge, so I don't think they're going to press forward, and also that command center can lift off. So Marines are going to go ahead and guard the upper left. SCVs are going to transfer there and mine. In the meantime, though, JYJ missing a lurker move out in the top right. So it looks like Soulkey critically going to be able to take position in that expansion in the upper right-hand corner. JYJ still has some positioned Marines here to box in some troops bottom right. The Guardian's still hanging out here. They need to, again, be careful they don't push out too far. They're going to get irradiated and wipe out pretty rapidly, and this is a big problem for Soulkey right here. A lot of science vessels out there, but Soulkey critically, let's see if he can hold it is the next question, critically able to get some position on the low ramp. Now, if he can get some lurkers, sufficient lurkers and defilers here, and defend it, maybe he'll be in business. But in the meantime, JYJ surging ahead. 131 supply, bunkering up at the 9 o'clock, setting up for a bit of a longer starvation match. Bunch of Scourge along the way. Plague has been upgraded as well. It looks like 2 of those science vessels eating a plague, but Defiler going to lose its life in turn. So Soulkey bought himself some time. Does not yet have a 4th gas. He's starting to secure that now. JYJ, however, at 4 bases. A single Mutalist going to wander up, spot this. And there's bunkers already in position there as well. So yeah, JYJ definitely thinking about going for more of a long-term contained game. Drop irradiates at 153 supply, so way ahead in supply. Might be able to make it work. However, this is Soulkey, keep in mind. And I'm wondering if Soulkey's going to make maneuvers to maybe grab that 3 o'clock base. Maybe if he can move a drone from the north. A plague dropped, again catching that science vessel. That science vessel count still fairly high, and battlecruiser is taking the field. Really going to tax, yeah. So JYJ just going to continue to produce immense amount of troops, irradiate the bejesus out of the upper right-hand corner, send battlecruisers in to really tax Soulkey's gas supply. Guardians now moving into that natural expansion to assault the SCVs. SCVs again just going to peel away. The science vessels en route. The battlecruisers now engaging to take down that gas at the natural expansion. It is going to be, yeah, a gas starvation game. So JYJ functionally on 3 bases, but I think he's A-okay with that. More radiate's going to get dropped. So it's going to be gas for gas here, potentially. Another creep colony being dropped. Looks like some Scourge managed to take out one of the battlecruisers. There's a transition to Hydralisk now late game to go for that Plague. I believe, yeah, Plague Hydralisk combos late game, although, yeah, so Spine's being upgraded. Carapace also coming online. Level 2 weapons, level 1 armor, by the way. Level 1 weapons, level 1 armor. Let's see if I can find a Hydralisk or a Lurker. No +1 weapons as of yet. The Guardians have been cleaned up at the natural, but the natural looking somewhat decimated for JYJ. I think he's okay with that because he does have a 70 supply lead. And now Soulkey's starting to really shell himself up here in the upper right-hand corner. More radiates being dropped. So JYJ's plan here in the long game, just box Soulkey in, and this is not boxing. Oh, never mind. I was going to say box Soulkey in. Don't let him sneak out on the map. Drop irradiates and hold these exterior locations. Maybe get some firebats in there. A battlecruiser making its way upper right. Looks like a battlecruiser is already there in position. And yeah, just try to tax Soulkey's gas, run him out. Firebat making short work of the Zergling attack at the 9 o'clock location. Dark Swarm being dropped to protect the drones in the upper right. Hydralisk piling in to deal with that battlecruiser. The battlecruiser really abusing. You know what's funny? I was going to say that, like, yeah, you know, Hydralisks, or that Mutalisks, that he was just going to be able to maybe 2-hatch and just straight Mutaplay because of this ridge. And now JYJ abusing these ridges instead with battlecruiser play mid-match. You can just see the buckets that he's setting up. He's also going to go ahead and store some Marines and medics at the 3 o'clock location to deny that. Again, poking away at that gas. I think waiting for that swarm. The Scourge wandering in, landing in mass to take out some battlecruisers there. So yeah, JYJ staging up for the long game. Soulkey pressing a little bit forward. Looks like he is going to be able to clear out the Marines and fire bats from the front door. No medic. The medic's now there, but too late, so they're going to get wiped out. The battlecruiser exiting to the north. These battlecruisers still trying to peck away at that extractor. I'm curious if I can... where is it? There it is. I'm curious. So we do have the physics lab. I don't know if Yamato's been upgraded as of yet. JYJ continuing to press Soulkey back towards the natural. Soulkey needs to break out at some point before he starves. JYJ has resaturated his natural expansion, hasn't grabbed his other gas. He's got all sorts of bunkers. Also, just in case, building some stuff in the upper left. More radiates being dropped the upper left-hand corner. But JYJ looked like just going to leave a pile of Marine and a single medic towards the front, so that is a possible exit point. But dropping immense amounts of irradiates in the upper right-hand corner. Honestly, I feel like JYJ's got this. More battle cruisers moving in. Ooh, some science vessels dying midfield. Hydro's starting to press out. Level 2 Carapace online. Level 3 weapons, however, on the opposite side. Because, yeah, the battlecruiser's really taxing this gas. That 3 o'clock location's denied. And if JYJ can just keep the macro up and keep dropping the irradiates and just get these favorable trades, avoid some plagues, they'll be okay. More radiates catching some of these troops. However, science vessels getting wiped out in the air, and that medic marine ball just getting completely obliterated, pulling back. JYJ still holding at 25 supply lead, and as I say that, as I'm like, oh yeah, JYJ's got this, all of a sudden Soulkey sneaking right back into this. Somehow this extractor stayed up the entire time. And Soulkey managing to get an expansion here at the 6 o'clock location. Zerglings moving out while JYJ has a factory out on the front, I assume, to get some more troops out. He's going to try to expand to that upper left-hand corner. Maybe make a transition to late-game mech to get some siege tanks out to deal with these Hydralisks. But as he's dropped this base, he's going to have to lift it right back up. Science vessels moving across, and man, Soulkey reading that, knowing the science vessels would be unprotected, scoring big. A perfect swarm to fend off that engagement as well. And let's see if he's got a follow-up attack with these lurkers and Hydralisks to go ahead and deny this base. It looks like some SCVs moving up. They're going to get caught by some lurker fire. It looks like they are going to be able to sneak in, however. Plague Marines and Soulkey really starting to take control of this. That drone is going to be, yeah, welcoming party there at 3 o'clock. But the 6 o'clock location now coming online. Although that is right on a path where a single battlecruiser, should it migrate that direction, could easily wipe that out. Marines engaging Hydralisks mid-map. Some lurkers that I do not believe were hold position, just going to wipe out things. Middle field, still +1 armor. Siege tanks setting up as well for JYJ. So JYJ, yeah, going to filter in some Marines. So rather than battlecruisers, it looks like it was just Marines finding that base, wiping that out. Soulkey back down to 4 bases versus JYJ's, I think, functional just 2, but soon to be 3. Hydralisks able to push all the way to the natural, and Zerglings getting here as well. So leaving that pocket open at the south. Dark Swarm making it all the way across, and now JYJ might end up losing his main. Hydra's continuing to press forward. 1 Defiler comes with this crew, and there are Defilers nearby, and JYJ does not have sufficient defense, in my opinion, to hold back, to stem the tide. So we're going to lose the factories on the front for sure. Is he just going to immediately start rebuilding? Top left. So going to lose a lot there. He managed to take out that 6 o'clock base. Soulkey getting it done on 4 bases. His main's mined out. His natural expansion is looking very thin. That gas is depleted. But with what he's got, making it work. Natural expansion gone. Some lurkers able to plant in that upper left-hand corner. Comsat, but okay, so there's siege tanks on the high ground to maybe deal with that. Zerglings look like they're easily going to be taken care of at that 9 o'clock base, but now a large amount of infrastructure going to get taken out for JYJ. In the bottom left, yeah, it looks like he's just giving up on the expansion here, bottom left. And Soulkey taking control of the map. Supplies evening here in the late game for... So here I thought, and this is what I was saying at the beginning, Soulkey finds ways to win. Level 3 Carapace now. Siege tanks dying as they're spawning. That 9 o'clock base being tacked away at. Siege tanks on defense. Unsieged, not able to do their splash to take care of it. Some reinforcements might be able to wipe that out. Science vessels in retreat to the upper left. And finally, excuse me, some additional barracks being planted out for JYJ upper left-hand corner. Down 30 supply all of a sudden. Losing that 9 o'clock base. The game spinning out of control. His main decimated. The 9 o'clock base getting swarmed. Soulkey off 4 bases, 2 of which are depleted. Starting to take control of this match. JYJ down on supply. Does have a lot of siege tanks. He has some bunkers. Is rebuilding top left. Marines getting cleaned up, so you can go ahead and take out that 6 o'clock location. Still a bunch of Marines and Firebats to deny that 3 o'clock. That 12 o'clock base could be key. And actually, the middle of the map could be key. Zerglings starting to flood in. Wiping out the siege tanks on the low ground. A Defiler there, dropping a Dark Swarm. And JYJ now getting swarmed at his 1 remaining base. Natural expansion floating to try to survive. The rest of that attack force group prepare to keep that command center surviving, but JYJ gonna GG right there. Oh, wow, that incredible. What a turnaround. Woof. Defilers are strong units, let me tell you. Hope you guys enjoyed it. A wild one on Fighting Spirit. Thanks for listening.